Hi and welcome back, and in this episode it's time to get the gearbox in because we know they fit with each other. I've got a clutch that's out here waiting. Now it's trying to get the thing in the tunnel, or at least see if it fits. I think it will, fingers crossed. I've jumped ahead, I've taken the interior out and I've taken a lot of the exhaust off, I've taken some of the other engine bits and pieces off, and it's ready to pull the engine out. But before that, I'm going to quickly make up a empty gearbox casing so we can just get a few measures before I make a start. So I'll show you where I'm at with it. Right, so this is stunt gearbox, a bit like how it was before I actually built the thing a couple of years back. So empty casing, empty tail shaft. We'll get this on the car, so I bought it up obviously at the bell housing, get the mount in. As I split my glove, and then gear selector in so that I can work out where the gear selector position is, and also I can look at the engine angle, because now I've not got the A gearbox in at all. You know, this is, I'll take that out. Yeah, we are all over the place, so I want to make sure that we've got the angle correct when this goes in with the Mazda box in, because that'll be my reference point. So what I will do is get the gearbox in, and we'll try and take an angle off from the top of these, because they should be relatively level. It'll give me an idea anyway. Right, so the gear stick's in, none of the gears obviously. What I think we're gonna have to do, but I'm going to wait on that, is do a slit down here, one across here, and the same on the other side to possibly raise this low point here. I think we're okay there. We've got a rail here and the center console bits, but this is where the gear stick is. Now I know the gear stick's coming out about here, because it's about an inch further forward, so I'd say it's about there. But I think, knowing that it's going to be tight round here, I am tempted to do a bigger cut. So come down to here, we'll cap this rail off. I can do some stuff to bring the strength back in here anyway. We can put a bit of bracing in further up and down, it'd be fine. But I'm going to mark where this is, and we'll take a cut around here and here. That's the rear of the center console. That's staying as it is because that's going to be okay, which I'm happy about when I actually film it. So yeah, when we come to put the mounts in for the center console here, or around here, I'll just use that as a datum. We'll get it all jigged up, and we can go from there. Because what I'm hoping, and what I mean, I don't think it's going to be a problem, is that the center console is going to go back in, no problem. Might be a touch off here, I can't remember. It's fairly flat there though, I think. The heater I don't think is going to be a problem, although I am going to take this out at some point because I want to rebuild it, because it's a little squeaky, and I think that's where some of the noise is coming from. You can hear that. So I want to try and improve some of the noise on this. Seeing as I've got the coolant drained and the engine's coming out and everything else, I might as well rebuild that. Possibly put a 3-speed fan in it if I can. I'm going to have a look at that, but that's a different story. So yeah, mark this. I'll cut it, and then gearbox back out, and then it will be engine out. So that's cut out. Bit weird really. Right. Engine out and new gear. Not easy to see from here, but that's wedged and we've got to come back a couple of inches. So at the minute yeah, wedged up here as well, caught down there, a bit close up here. Bollocks. Right. Not the best for view. Right. So if I push that up, still got a little bit further to go back, but that is catching there. Same on the other side. So it looks like I'm going to have to remove that piece and try again. Hi, and it's the morning after. Kind of got into a bit of a groove with it yesterday, so once I got the engine block in, I didn't move the camera because I was so focused on getting the gearbox in, which, it happens. I mean, we're all guilty of it. Anyway, I have sort of got the gearbox in, but I've had to do a bit of cutting. I've tried to keep... For the minute, I've tried to keep the original gearbox mounts in place, mainly because if this goes wrong, I can always just patch up what I've cut out. I'll show you underneath. It'll make more sense. I've also had to remove part of the gearbox, which again, there's a big aluminium bracket that attaches the gearbox to the diff. Well, where that mounts the gearbox makes it really wide, to the point where it was just, that's one of the places where it's catching. So thought, well, I'll cut it off. Let's be honest, it's £100 gearbox, let's give it a try, and if it's that bad, then we won't do it that far next time. But so far it looks to be okay, which is really good. I'll show you from above, because I'm currently, as you can see, sat in the car, and it'll make more sense. Right, as you can see, gearbox is in. Now I've had to widen this hole slightly, which I did very quickly before I came in last night, because this was one of the last spots it was catching. In fact, you can see the bit I cut out last night. But we're not far off. So from above, now if I try and not drop this, how am I going to do it? That'll do. Alright, if I grab the gearbox, we're almost there. Like, actually, got a bit of a catch on it. So that's pretty much where it needs to be. The only problem I've got at the minute is there is the reverse switch which I bet you can't see from up here, but I'm going to have to get underneath. You can't even see that. Right, so there's the reverse switch, which when you put it into reverse, obviously that's what turns the back light on, is around here, because that's, let me think, that's where the gearbox mounts are underneath the shell on the floor. And there's a big, that's quite a wide piece. In fact, you can see here where I've cut out some, yeah, and the reverse switch is right where my hand is there, and that is rubbing against the body, which means if I want a reverse light, which I think I do, or at least like the option to put one in, I'm gonna have to cut a piece out here to allow for that. So basically I have to put a bubble in, which will extend that out. Now I can't see anything else that's actually going to stop it from catching, because I mean that actually feels, so if I drop the gearbox out again once I've finished talking, I'll mark up roughly where I need to cut, but yeah, I think I'm gonna have to let in a section here. This will extend out, probably fold that up, make it a bit neater. It's not really going to make any difference when you've got your feet in here, because you're going to be going, you very rarely put your feet against that. I could quite literally go out here and up, and it wouldn't look any different. But yeah, it's not far off. Now, it's a bit of an optical illusion because it looks something was throwing it off on the other side, which is why it is slightly off. That's right, just a couple of degrees, so I need to figure out what that was, which I'll figure out once I've dropped it. But right, I'll get underneath and I'll show you what else I've done. Right, let me move my hand out of the way. So that's the casing that I cut off yesterday. You can see it's close here. I can just get my finger in, which is not ideal. If I come around the other side, grab a torch. Now, if you look up there, that is the offending switch. Yeah, and that is rubbing against the floor. I can't quite get the angle with the camera. There we go. Yeah, so it's rubbing there. Which isn't ideal, but I think that's what's throwing it off, because, let me move a bit further forward. Yeah, so you can see that it's throwing it off here, because it's just catching there. So that's what's throwing that off. So if I get that right, I think it should go up. Yeah, that's it. Try and get that lit. There you go. There you can see it there. So that's why I tried to keep these for as long as possible, but I think I'm going to have to cut a little access hatch out there. That should get the gearbox up into position. I think I'll do that before I remove these anyway, because if it all goes wrong, at least I can, like I say, I can rebuild this. I mean, all I've done is shave some of this width off, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And I've not actually caused any major damage around here, which is nice. But I think... Right, so I've got that cut, and as you can see, almost there. Now I did take a few angle measurements off the cylinder head before I started doing all this, and it is looking like we need to come up a little bit more, but now I am hard up against here, so I think I'm gonna have to drop the gearbox and cut this, because there's another piece under here, which I'll show you in a sec. But it looks like I'm gonna have to just basically cut down here and across, just take that piece out completely. Again, shouldn't be a problem. So let's just do that. Right, you join me under the Cortina. This is now at the right angle. I've had to remove, this is the aluminium I've had to remove, and I can do a bit more because if you can see here, this bit is, well, it's not doing anything. And that was originally on the MX5, you have a big bracket that goes from here all the way down to the diff, assuming that's an MX5 rear end and not a Ford English axle. So because it was catching here, and I thought it was easier to remove a bit of gearbox rather than a lot of tunnel, because we're not using that. I have put the handbrake on loosely, because one thing I have noticed is the handbrake comes from over here on the driver's side and it goes over to the passenger side, and on the mount there's a bit that helps do that, and as you can see it is catching. So I think when it comes out again, I'll remove a bit more of this and look at whether I can leave some of this here, whether I can actually drill and tap into this and put a bracket that will pull that, just give that the direction it needs. Should do. Only moving it down slightly. There's plenty of slack on the cable that I could actually just compensate for this change anyway. The other thing is the fuel line is clearly in the way. Originally I ran it down the tunnel with the brake line, but that's not too bad. I mean, to be fair, I don't like how it comes up here anyway. It could do with a couple more brackets and a bit more support. It always seems to be a bit like it's flapping in the wind a bit. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you the underside. So the gearbox is in, and I'm really happy that it does actually go in there, and I haven't had to chop out too much. I think the centre console is going to be okay, but we'll come to that later on once I've got the mount made, which is where I'm at next. I don't have the materials right now, so I'm going to get some stuff ordered and we'll get cracking on that next time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, fire them away, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.